Alright, so in the last video we added some styling using CSS, but I, like many people, prefer Tailwind. So let's get Tailwind installed in our project. To set up Tailwind, we need to first head over to the Tailwind docs. Under the Initialization tab, we see this Framework Guide option. If we go ahead and click on that, we can visit the step-by-step instructions on how to add Tailwind to our SvelteKit project. Now, things are constantly changing, so while these are the steps at the time of this recording, make sure you check the docs in case they've changed. We can skip this first step since we've already created our SvelteKit app and move on to copying these commands and running them in our terminal. The first command will install Tailwind and the others will generate two files, our tailwind.config.cjs file and postcss.config.cjs file. So here in our text editor, we can see that Tailwind has been installed and the two new files have been generated successfully. Our postcss file is where we can specify what postcss plugins we want to use. All we need to do is export an object here like this that contains a key called plugins, which is an array of plugins that should be used to process our CSS. We need to require Tailwind CSS since of course we want to use Tailwind as well as auto prefixer, so we can automatically add vendor prefixes to our CSS. But this has already been done for us, so we don't need to touch this file. Now we can skip over step 3, and if we copy this code and move into our tailwind.config.cjs file, we can paste it in, and this just adds the paths to all of your templates. Finally, we need to add the @Tailwind directives for each of Tailwind's layers in our app.css file, like this. And we're already importing this in our layout, but it's always good to double check. Now we can just restart our app and Tailwind should kick in. We can kind of already see it's working because it's stripped all of our default element stylings, but let's go ahead and test it anyways by adding some bottom margin to our orange divs using Tailwind classes. Now if we check this out in the browser, we see Tailwind classes are working correctly. Now that we've got Tailwind installed, we're going to use it to build out our UI in future videos. Next up, we're going to learn about Svelte components, so I'll see you in the next video.